Okay, hello again. So now I'm going to show you an example of how to do your Throwback Thursday papers. So here we go with first, our problem is 584 plus 169. So I'm going to write the standard algorithm and I'm going to line up my numbers so that my place value stays in rows. So 584, now I have 3 digits here, so I can keep those right in line, 169. I'm going to start with the ones column. 4 plus 9 equals 13, so I write the digit from the ones column, the 3, and then I bring the digit from the tens column up on top of the tens. So now remember, this is really like 10 plus 80 plus 60. But 1 plus 8 equals 9, plus 6 equals 15. So again, I put down the 5, and I bring the 1 up. I'm going to circle those so I don't forget they're there. Now these are really hundreds. So I have 100 plus 500 plus 100 equals 700. The second strategy, you can choose which one you want to do. Yesterday we talked about... earlier, I went over the different strategies with you. I'm going to use expanded form for this. You could use whichever strategy you like better. So, for expanded form, I'm going to have 500 plus 80 plus 4 plus 100 plus 60 plus 9. When I add those together, I get 600 plus 8 plus 6 is 14, so this is 140. 4 plus 9 equals 13. Then over here, I'm going to write those numbers lined up by place value, and I'm going to add them together. So 0 plus 0 plus 3 equals 3, 0 plus 4 plus 1 equals 5, and 6 plus 1 equals 7. And if I did it correctly, my answers match, which they do. Okay, so there you go. And then we have our word problem. So let's take a look back at our problem-solving strategies. Remember, we read the problem, then we circle the important information, underline the question, write the equation and solve it, and then check to make sure it makes sense. So, my problem is, Sophia read 169 pages of her book. She had 584 pages left to read. How many pages were in the book altogether? So I'm going to start by circling. That was step 1, I read the problem. Step 2 is to circle the important numbers. So my important numbers are 584, that's how many pages she had left. 169, that's how many she read. Next, I'm going to underline the question. So remember, I find the question mark if I'm not sure, and I just go back to the period. So the question here is, how many pages were in the book altogether? This altogether, actually, I'm going to go back and circle that because it's not a number, but it's important to solving the problem. When I say altogether, I know that means I'm putting my two numbers together. So I'm going to get a bigger number. I know that if I'm going to get a bigger number, that means I'm going to add. So I'm going to add the numbers that I circled, 169 plus 584. And I'm going to I'm going to use the standard algorithm. So 9 plus 4 equals 13. Put down the 3. I bring up the 1. 7 plus 8 is 15. And then 5 plus 1 plus 1 is 7. 753, and I have to label it, so I have pages. Now I ask myself, does this answer make sense? I'm adding, so my sum, my answer, has to be bigger than the two numbers I added together, or the add-ins. It is, so I know my number makes sense. And then you can always use one of the other strategies to check your answer. So I will give you a paper like this with a different number, different word problem for you to solve on your own. Good luck. Don't forget to send it back to me.